Welcome back to Clark's Ring Rant. Let's get straight into today's video.
We have some breaking news, and this is something I did not see coming. This is the news that Daniel Dubois will be reuniting with former trainer Don Charles, meaning he has left Tony Sims before they even had a fight together, before they even got through a fight camp together. So let's take a look at this. In a statement from Riz Khan, Daniel Dubois' business manager, he said, "On behalf of Team Dubois, I wish to confirm to the media and all relevant parties that Daniel has decided to resume his professional relationship with Don Charles and his coaching team. Don Charles and his team guided Daniel to world championship status and oversaw the most successful period of his career. Following defeat to Oleksandr Usyk, Daniel took time to reflect on his journey and the emotions surrounding the decisions to part ways with Don. After careful consideration and discussions with the wider team, Daniel has chosen to reverse that decision. Daniel will now return to working with Don Charles, under whose corner he achieved his greatest accomplishments to date. Further fight news to be announced in due course." Now, this is really, really weird, and Daniel Dubois really is a curious case. He's had so many trainers now. He's had Martin Bowers. He's had Shane McGuigan, Don Charles, Tony Sims for a little while, and now he's back with Don Charles. What is the case with Daniel Dubois? And I have to question, how much input and say does he have in the events that go on in his career? We all know his dad is a massive influence and factor. He has a lot of sway when it comes to Daniel making decisions, and maybe Stan has been in Daniel's ear again, telling him, "I don't think Tony Sims is the right fit. Look at what we achieved with Don. Yes, I know we didn't get the result we wanted in the Usyk fight, but maybe that's the best place for him." And maybe his dad has come to that decision, because Daniel Dubois strikes me as someone who isn't very headstrong and maybe needs guidance. So in a way, something like this doesn't surprise me, but it's just really, really not a good look. I mean, we saw the fallout from the Usyk fight, the party, turning up late, only getting to the venue an hour before the ring walk. It was all a bit of a mess, and then to sort of throw Don Charles under the bus seemed a bit unfair to me. Now I know Don Charles has his critics, but come on, that wasn't really so much down to him, that loss. Usyk was always going to win that fight. Dubois could have had Eddie Fush in his corner, he could have had Angelo Dundee. I don't think it would have been a blind bit of difference. He was always going to lose that fight. So to get rid of Don Charles, I thought was very, very reactionary. But now he's back with Don Charles, and it'll be interesting to see what they do. I'll tell you who it will be interesting to hear from. It'll be very, very interesting to hear Tony Sims' version of events. We all know Tony Sims runs a tight ship over there at his gym. He would not have stood for Stan Dubois trying to get involved, oversee training. It would have been Tony Sims' way or the highway. And maybe that is one of the reasons why this move hasn't worked, because Stan Dubois was trying to be too involved in the training setup. We know he had a lot of say, and he was able to oversee things down in the gym with Don Charles. And maybe he feels like that is the best way for Daniel's career to progress moving forward, and Tony Sims just wouldn't allow him to have as much input as he wanted. So he's just pulled the plug, said, right, no, we're going back to Don Charles where I can have more of a say. So it'll be really, really interesting to hear Tony Sims' version of events, and whether or not that is the case. Don Charles was just being overbearing and wanted to be too involved in the setup. It'd be really, really interesting. I always did question the move. We know Daniel Dubois has been a long time, career-long member of Queensberry. He's been with Frank Warren since the very, very beginning. And as we all know, Tony Sims, it's the Matchroom gym. It's Matchroom fighters in there predominantly. So I did question why he'd moved there. Obviously, I'm not saying Tony Sims can't train fighters that aren't on Matchroom, but the majority of his fighters are, and we know Daniel Dubois is one of Queensberry's biggest stars. So it was always peculiar from that standpoint. And yeah, it's just a really, really, really strange times in Daniel Dubois' career. What will he do next, though? We know the Zhilei Zhang fight was rumoured. I thought he'd come back with a bit of a knockover job first, but Frank Warren seemed open to making that fight. He said the fight's there for both men, and you have to assume Zhang would want that fight. Just whether Dubois would have it, is he going to be ready for it? There's been a lot of confusion, a lot of chopping and changing. He's not fought since the Usyk fight. It's just really, really confusing. But this is some breaking news. It'll be better when we get some more clarity on it from Daniel Dubois and his team. Maybe we'll hear from Don Charles, we'll hear from Stan Dubois, and I think most importantly, we'll hear from Tony Sims, because there's two sides to every story. So if we can get his version of events, that'd be brilliant. But yeah, breaking news, weird news. Definitely wasn't expecting this. I was looking forward to seeing how Daniel Dubois looked under Tony Sims in his comeback fight, but I guess we'll never know. And that is because Daniel Dubois goes back to Don Charles. Is it because of his dad? Did he have any say in it? Or has Daniel Dubois come to this decision on his own? Maybe Frank Warren's been in his ear and told him Don Charles was the best for you. Who knows? We'll get more clarity in the coming days. But let me know what you think. Is this a good move for Daniel Dubois? Is Don Charles the best trainer for him? Should he have given Tony Sims a chance? And why do you think they may have split up? Leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Peace out.